Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Living Inspired with Autism. I'm your host, Antoinette, and I am an autism parent life coach. And of course, I'm also mom to my own autistic child, Max. This is a show for parents who are raising amazing autistic children and who also want to remember that they are human beings with lives and dreams and desires and emotions, relationships, bodies, homes, and hearts that need care too. So we have just settled into our new house, and it feels for the first time, I think now in 3 weeks, that things are actually returning to normal, kind of, but it's all good. And it's all good. All right. Okay. So if there is one skill that has transformed my own life more than anything else, it isn't confidence, which is what I thought it might have been. And it's not courage, and it is positive thinking. It's something that's a lot less glamorous, but it is so much more powerful. It's becoming skilled at feeling unsafe. Before you switch off, because it sounds like backwards, just stay with me here for a bit. So I'm not talking about putting yourself in dangerous situations or ignoring genuine risks. I'm talking about something every parent of an autistic child experiences almost every single day. The uncomfortable feeling that you get in your body that says, something is just not okay. Maybe it's because your kiddo isn't speaking yet. Maybe it's because they're getting older and you don't know what their adult life is going to look like. Maybe it's because the school they're in is not working. Maybe it's because your marriage isn't doing so well. Maybe it's because you've had another difficult day and you're wondering if you could just keep up this pace, if you can keep doing this. Or maybe it's simply because you just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. That feeling, that feeling, that uncertainty, that knot in your stomach. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to get rid of that feeling. We think if we can just solve this one problem or learn this one thing that may work or find the perfect ABA therapist or somebody who can help or get this routine near perfect or earn more money or lose the weight, have more energy, grow the business, maybe then we'll feel safe. But what if we're trying to solve the wrong problem all along? What if the goal isn't to feel safe all the time? What if the goal is to become so emotionally capable that feeling unsafe no longer controls your life? What if feeling unsafe isn't that scary? Emotional capacity isn't about eliminating difficult emotions. It is about increasing your ability to experience them without ignoring yourself. Now, I just want you to think about that for a moment, because most of us believe emotional strength means that we are not going to feel anxious, that we're not going to feel overwhelmed, that we're not going to feel scared. But emotional strength has nothing to do with the absence of emotion. It's about what you do while the emotion is there. Can you stay present? Can you keep breathing? Can you think clearly? Can you avoid making decisions purely to escape that discomfort? That's emotional capacity. So imagine you're standing in the ocean, because I always think when we go to the sea, and I'll give you an analogy with Max, because He loves the water, but every time we go to the sea, he is a little unsure because he stands there and a small wave comes towards him and he wants to run away. And then the next step is he'll stay put, but then, when the water retracts, it pulls the sand from underneath his feet. And then he kind of backs away. And then he goes forward again, and then he gets a little bit more brave, and then sometimes a little wave just knocks him over. And then he panics and he runs again, or he fights it, and then he goes back to shore. But we all know that those waves are not going to stop. You just simply learn how to stand when the waves come. Life doesn't stop producing waves. We just simply become steadier. And I think this is especially important for us autistic parents because uncertainty is actually such a normal part of our lives. We don't know when our kid's going to sleep. We don't know what behaviors tomorrow will bring. We don't know how school is going to go. We don't know what adulthood would look like. We don't know what services are going to still exist in 5 years, or even if they're going to be available to us in 5 years. There are so many unknowns. And somewhere along the way, we begin to believe that if I could just know what's going to happen, I'd finally relax. I'm going to feel a little bit more safe. But certainty isn't actually what we're searching for. We are searching for emotional safety. We think certainty creates safety, but it doesn't. Self-trust creates safety. Now, there's a huge difference. Certainty says, I need the future to go my way. Self-trust says, I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'll be okay. I know I'll meet it. One depends on the world behaving itself. The other depends on you. And that, my friends, is a real power. One of the biggest shifts that I've made in my own life came when I realized that I wasn't actually afraid of circumstances anymore. I wasn't afraid of emotions or afraid that my business wouldn't work, or I was afraid of the disappointment. I wasn't afraid that people were going to say no to me. I was more afraid of the rejection. I wasn't afraid of making mistakes. I was afraid of feeling like I'd failed. Do you see the difference? The circumstances weren't the problem. The things around me, the feelings were, or at least I thought they were. Until I realized something. Every difficult emotion I've ever experienced has ended. It's gone away. Every single one. Fear ended. Grief left. Disappointment passed. Embarrassment faded. Stress settled. None of them actually lasted forever. Yet, I spent so much time organizing my entire life trying to avoid temporary emotions. My friends, that is exhausting. And I wonder if you've been doing the same. Maybe you've delayed taking care of yourself because now doesn't feel like the right time. Maybe you've put your dreams on hold until life becomes easier. Maybe you've avoided difficult conversations. Maybe you've stayed small because growing feels uncomfortable. Not because you can't do it, but because you try not to feel. Because listen here, discomfort isn't danger. Read that again or say it again. Discomfort isn't danger. Your nervous system often cannot tell the difference. treats uncertainty like it's a life-threatening event, like you have just seen a tiger and it's chasing you. It floods your body with stress hormones. Your heart races, your thoughts speed up, your stomach is in a knot. Everything inside of you screams, do something, run, get away. But sometimes the wisest thing that you can do is absolutely nothing, because it means that you're refusing to let fear make the decision. Imagine saying to yourself, this feels like seriously intense, and it's okay, I can be here. Or I feel uncertain, and I don't have to solve everything today. Or my body feels activated. I don't need to believe that every thought my brain is producing is true. I don't know what's coming, but I trust that I'll know what to do when it does. That is emotional leadership. What if you became incredibly good at feeling safe? It's a very different question, asking yourself, are you safe? Because suddenly the goal isn't about removing the uncertainty. The goal becomes expanding and growing yourself. Because difficult conversations just become practice. Every failure or setback becomes a practice. Every disappointment becomes practice. Every unexpected change becomes practice. You are building your emotional muscle. And emotional muscles develop exactly the same way that physical muscles do, with resistance. Now, not the kind of resistance where you don't want to do it, but the kind of resistance of a heavyweight, okay? Nobody becomes stronger by lifting feathers. Growth requires load. So anytime you have something, quote, negative in your life, see them as opportunities to practice. Your emotional capacity grows every single time that you stay present with that uncomfortable feeling without trying to escape it. You become the kind of person who can carry a lot more responsibility, more success and love and leadership, because you've also learned to carry the uncertainty. And I think this matters enormously for us as parents. Our children don't need us to have all the answers. They just need us to become the calmest person in the room. Imagine what a gift that is for them. Your kiddo's dysregulated, everyone else is panicking, but you remain grounded and calm because you've practiced staying with discomfort. You've learned that big emotions don't require immediate reactions. You know that they're going to pass. Your calm becomes an anchor for them. And that's what regulation really is. It's not perfect. It's just being present, being there with them. And the beautiful thing about emotional capacity is that it will change every single area of your life. It changes your parenting, your marriage, your friendships, your business, your health. So the next time you notice yourself desperately wanting that certainty, just take a breath and ask yourself, am I actually looking for information, or am I trying to escape a feeling? If it's a feeling, just stay with it, breathe, notice it, name it, allow it. And you don't have to like it. You don't even have to understand it or know the name of it. You just simply have to trust that you're bigger than it. Remember this. The strongest people are the ones who never feel afraid. They're the ones who stop letting fear make their decisions. And maybe that's the invitation for you today. Not to become fearless or to eliminate uncertainty, but to become someone who can walk through uncertainty with self-trust. Because life with autism is always going to contain unknowns. There's always going to be seasons that you didn't expect, things that are going to happen, questions that you can't answer, challenges that you didn't choose. But none of that has to stop you from creating a beautiful life. You don't need certainty to move forward. You need capacity. You need that quiet confidence that says, I don't know what's coming next, but I know I will know what to do when it gets here. That is the kind of parent that I want you to become. Not someone who fixes the circumstances or tries to, someone who trusts themselves no matter what happens. And if that's something that you're longing for, if you're tired of living in this uncertainty, not knowing how to deal with it, if you're exhausted from trying to control everything because your nervous system doesn't know another way, I would love to help you. This is exactly the work that I do. Together, we build the emotional capacity that allows you to stay grounded in uncertainty. We help you regulate your nervous system and begin creating a life that isn't dedicated by fear. Because you deserve more than simply just getting through each day. You deserve to trust yourself. You deserve to feel steady. You deserve to build a life that feels expansive and meaningful and deeply yours, even with autism as part of your story. All right, my friends, if this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Reach out through my website or connect with me on social media or book a consult with me. The link will be down below in the show notes. Let's explore what's possible when you stop waiting to feel safe and start becoming the person who knows that they can handle whatever life brings. Until next time, remember, you don't need certainty about the future. You simply need a deeper relationship with yourself. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you. I will see you next week. Bye now.